Hey fellow farmers, this is Bunto and this is the account review for Phail, whom is with Super Mew. And yeah, we just did a summoning session for him, and any summoning session where you summon one Nat 5 is already a very, very good session. But we ended up summoning him two, two Nat 5. So yeah, it's pretty good if I do say so myself. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and start with the account review. All right. So usually I would review pretty much everything for the viewer that I summoned for, but he is a little bit higher level in the game. He's almost at where I'm at actually. Just missing a few things here and there, but yeah, otherwise pretty good. Like Giants and Dragon B10 is around a minute to a minute and 30 seconds, so he's good there. All right, he can clear TOA normal and hard, so he's also good there too. So he doesn't need any help for that. But his Necros is 4 minutes, and I think it fails all the time too. So we're gonna be helping him out with that today, and also R5 as well. He can do it, but he fails too often. So yeah, we're gonna look into that for him. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the Necros B10 team. So yeah, so I'm not too sure. He didn't tell me what team he used, so I'm very unsure as to who is his slow or who is his armor breaker. Because in Necros B10 team, it's really important to have obviously the multi hitters, but also at the same time, it's also important to have your attacker with the slow debuff to go last, and your armor break also to go last. Like they can go second last or last, doesn't matter, as long as they go after all the multi hits, and then the shield is off, and then that's when they can apply the debuff. And slow really matters. And then after slow, armor break is the next important one, of course, right? So yeah, so you really have to speed tune your dudes. And yeah, I'm not sure what team you use, so you probably have Shihua on it, because she's pretty good. Her skills are like three hits. Second one doesn't really do anything. She doesn't use it, I believe. And then third one, she does 5 hits, and her leader skill for fire units is 40%. So she's pretty good for that. All right. So do you use Hua? Hua is really fast. Hua is a really good option for Necros B10, because her first skill does apply slow debuff, and the activation rate is pretty high, I believe. See, 50. So yeah, activation rate is 80%. So it's really high. So it's pretty good, and she does have the passive, which would allow her to attack twice. Yeah, and also decreases attack bar. That only works for of course, before the boss. That doesn't work at the boss. But yeah, so she hits really hard. So maybe you should put better runes on her, I think, because like how I made my Necros team, I just happened to have the monsters that worked out for Necros, right? Like other than that, you have to build a team for them, and you have to tweak it. So the team that I use is who the hell did I use? Okay. So I use Hua, Double Torque, Panda, and Colleen. That's the team that I use, and it works, right? My Double Torques are from my Giants B10 team and my Dragons B10 team, and I just plop them in there, and they work because of their group hunt. It will allow them to attack with two other monsters. So if your other monsters have multi-hit on first turn, essentially they can get in a lot of hits, and it is really nice, and it does reduce cooldown of the monsters that you bring in as well. So it's really good. So I have two Torques, so there's a lot of group hunt going on, so there's a lot of multi-hits going on as well, and then also it plays off of each other, where it reduces each other's cooldown. So it's pretty nice. So then group hunt is off cooldown more often. Okay, so yeah, so double Tark is a very good option. I do see that you have two of them, so you're probably gonna re-rune this guy, because this guy is hella slow, really slow. But other than that, he's fine. All right. Yeah, so put more effort into Hua. I mean, she's usable everywhere, right? Like you could use her. She's really good in dragons. She's really good in Necro. She's really good in raids. So I would like Hua for myself. She's one of my best rune monsters, just because she's like constantly being used everywhere. I put my best runes on her. Right? Sometimes it's not about putting your best runes on your PvP units. sometimes you have to give, like the best ones to your farmers, because how else are you going to get more runes for, for your PvP units or your nat 5s that you have, right? You need to farm them, and to increase your chance of getting better runes, you want to farm faster. So it's a good investment to put good runes on your farmers, or the guys that farm for you in the B10 teams. And Hua is definitely one of the monsters that you should consider, because again, she's good in so many places in the game. All right, so currently you have her ruined on Swift Revenge. Okay, so yeah, so I would even suggest going Violent Revenge on her if you can, with speed, crit damage, and attack, and try to get her to a decent amount of crit rate, 85 or whatever, and good crit damage and good attack. Just pretty much a standard nuker build, right? And if you can get her to like 150, yeah, if you can get her to like 150 without the speed slot 2 rune, put an HP rune there. So HP, crit damage, attack, and if you can get decent attack, decent crit rate, decent crit damage, the HP rune will really help her survive in R5. Oh yeah, and of course, like plus 50, like she already has a 104 base speed, so just if you can get her to like 150, that should suffice for all of the dungeons, dragons, necros, and raids. That's how I used to have her built as, and yeah, she does great. She does great in R5. Like as long as you have over 20k HP, and again, just the other stats, the attack, crit damage, crit rate, and at least 150 speed, she will do very well in all 3 dungeons. All right, so definitely give her better runes. All right, and yeah, so just so for necros, you really have to speed tune your team. I can't say that enough. So if Hua is 150, the other guys just, Hua doesn't have to have 0 speed on her to go last. You can just make your other guys faster, right? I mean, the speed doesn't matter only at the boss stage, right? But it does matter throughout the initial waves, the trash mobs before the boss. It will help you clear it faster. Okay, so Hua would be a very good option, and I do see here that you have double Tarks already, so I would just suggest building them up. Again, same thing, right? Attack, yeah, attack, crit damage, crit rate, and a lot of speed. And yeah, and they'll do fine. Just make, as long as they go faster than Hua, they're pretty good. And I did pull you a Huahi, I believe. I must have put her in storage, but Huahi is also very good. I wish I had her, but I don't. So I'm using Colleen, and Colleen's alright. She heals and she does attack break and attack block. But the Huahi, she's just a really good damage dealer, and she does heal and buff attack as well. So she does do Colleen's job, but a little bit better. So she's just lacking the debuff, so she doesn't have the attack break or the heal block, which doesn't really matter too much actually. Like it doesn't matter at all. If you can do enough damage, it really doesn't matter. And with Huahi, you will do so much damage, especially on her 3rd skill. If she kills a monster, it becomes off cooldown right away, so you can use it again the next time she moves. So definitely build her, and again, right, like you just have to make sure you speed tune them properly. Like you can clear TOA hard, and also like your giants and dragons team are like 1 minute, around 1 minute. You should be able to do necros no problem. You just probably didn't build a team around it yet. That's all, right? So it's not too difficult, right? Just gotta speed tune and bring in the right monsters. And double Tarks works surprisingly well, actually. It works really well. You just gotta make sure the other guys, have multi hits as well. So yeah, and so you can try Hua, Tark. Who else? Do you have Panda? Yeah. Panda's okay. I mean, I've been testing it out where I'm using Panda and I'm using Regal, the water lich, And I find that the Water Lich is a lot better. He does way more damage. He slows on the first turn with like 2 or 3 hits, and his second skill is Armor Break and attacks 3 turns, and it does so much damage. And I think you had a Fuko somewhere. I think you had a Fuko. Let me just check. Fuko, essentially they're the same, just that their last skill, actually no, they both have a passive, so their last passive is different. So I do see you have a Fuko here. So yeah, you can try with Fuko, but it might be a little annoying if you get stolen, because he does create a shield for himself, and if you hit him, you do slow yourself. So that's the only caveat of using Fuko, I believe. But you can try, yeah, so you do have Regal. He's 4-star right now, so 4-star, so anything before 6-star is worth building, right? So he's pretty much same thing as Fuko right now. So yeah, definitely you can build him up. He's pretty good too. He's pretty good too. Again, same first and second skill, just his passive is a little different. He can't get slowed. Not get slowed. He can't be frozen, sleep, or stun, and the passive also reduces his chance of getting crit by 25%. So yeah, so essentially he's actually a little easier to kill than Fuko, but that 25% does help him survive in these stages before, so you don't really have to build any like HP or any survivability in him. My Fuko, for instance, not Fuko, sorry, Regal, for instance, he only has like 14k or 13k HP. He's on attack, crit damage, and attack, and he hits so hard. He actually hits harder than my Hua, and my Hua has like really good like overall stats. Like she has really good overall stats, good damage, good speed, good HP, everything. And Fuko just has a lot of attack, no speed, no HP, and of course, you know, good crit rate and crit damage. All right, yeah, so you can try that. So yeah, Hua, Tark, Colleen, and yeah, like either the Fuko or the Regal. I think Regal will be better. And whenever you build up your Huahi, you can totally sub out Colleen for Huahi. And it's actually very worth it to build Huahi, because again, she's very useful in you know, not only Necros, but she's also pretty useful in a lot of the newer raid boss. Yeah, in the newer raid boss. Do you have, I don't think you have a fire homie yet, right? And I don't think you have a fire homie yet. Yeah, you don't have a fire homie yet. So she would really help in farming him, and then, you know, farming his skill ups. Because if you're just looking here, if you're like any of us that farmed it in like the first day, we'll be like, oh man, this is taking forever to farm this one dude, right? Like it took me like one full day of farming to get him. And then when you look into his skills, what's needed to upgrade, it's like you need so much more than what's the initial cost here. So the initial cost of getting him is very cheap compared to his evolving and upgrading his skills. All right, so yeah, so definitely build a Huahi. She'll really help out. But as for the current team, the current monsters you have now, again, I don't know what team you use, so I don't know who's the slower here for you. Who applies the slow debuff for you? But yeah, definitely go with those guys. They're pretty good. All right, so yeah, let's move on. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, R5. Okay, so R5. So first off, you want to start off with your frontline tankers, right? Tankers are very important. If they die, your whole team loses. That's pretty much it. If you lose your frontline tankers, your whole team loses. So always concentrate first on getting them to be able to survive throughout the ordeal before you really care about the backline, really. All right, so I do see your Colleen here is built pretty good. She has 30k HP, which is really nice, and she's 195 speed, which is also very good. Resistance is okay. If it's like a little higher, wouldn't hurt, of course. And accuracy also, if it was a little bit higher as well, like 30 or 40, I think it was the cap that's needed. But even then, like my Colleen actually has 0. She has 0 accuracy, and she always applies it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right. But yeah, we are talking about R5 right now. So you do have her built as violent, yeah, violent revenge. I would suggest putting her on triple revenge, and just because of course her first skill does weaken attack, which is very very important because most of the time when you're failing R5, it's after the third jump, right? Because that's when the boss gets really really strong, and if you don't have attack buff on him for like 1 or 2 turns, your whole team's gonna wipe. He does so much damage without attack break on. So you really, really do need the attack break on him, right? And yeah, she, like for this build, it's really good for Necros. But you're gonna sub her out for Huahi, which will do much better, right? So it's okay to put Colleen on triple revenge. I mean, what is this here? So 15% chance to counterattack. So you have 3 sets on her. She'll have 45% chance to counterattack. So it's pretty much 50-50. She'll go right after the third jump and hit the boss and land the attack break. And then afterwards, it's pretty much smooth sailing from then on, right? It's hard to lose after that, especially if you made it that far and you built a okay team. Yeah, so definitely like it's really really important to have Colleen to be able to land the attack break, unless you have other monsters as well. But having her on triple revenge, I just feel it makes it so much safer. All right. So yeah, let's go back to the frontline tankers. I'm not sure who you use for frontline tankers, but I'm assuming it's these two guys. I don't see anybody else, so I'm assuming it's Segment and Fei. So Segment is, yeah, she's actually pretty good. She does have the attack break on the first turn, which is nice, and second turn does apply all of these, which is also nice. Third skill doesn't really do anything. So yeah, so let's talk about her stats. All right. Wait, actually, what is she on? Okay, Despair. Oh, so you probably use her for arena and things, which is okay. So Despair here is okay. This doesn't really matter too much. So the stats that you have her currently on, yeah, it seems like it would suffice. But I would say for frontline tankers, try to get them to have like at least 25k HP. I feel that 20,000 isn't enough. Like for the back line, 20,000 is pretty good. They don't get hit as much, but the front line, you should try to have 25k. This is to like what I'm recommending here is not for beginners team. This is more for a stable team, right? Beginners, yeah, totally try to have 20k HP for the front line. But if you want like a really really stable team, try to get frontline to have 25 or even 30k HP if possible, right? And yeah, you have a decent defense already. You have like 1700, which is really good actually, which is really good. Yeah, and actually the stats that I always recommend for frontline is to have 1700 defense. If you're running a two-man frontline team, 1700 is where you should have, and then 25k HP again, just to make it more safe. And if you can get 30 somehow, that's even better. Right? Yeah, like for instance, my frontline, I use who do I use? I use Bella, and my Bella has like 30k. Is it 30k? Yeah, 30k HP and like something like 2k defense. So she's really strong. she never dies. And I have Fire Monkey as the front as well. He also has like, I think he has around 2 or 2.1k defense or 2.2k defense actually, and he has a little less HP. He has like 23k. But the defense more than makes up for it. So it's really nice. All right. So yeah. So again, you have good defense. Just try to work on HP. HP does matter because just in case you do miss attack break, you do want them to survive a little bit, so your back team doesn't get wiped, right? So that's why I'm suggesting the extra 5k HP there. Just to make it more stable. And your Fire Panda is already very good. Like look at him. He has like 26k, almost 26k HP and freaking 2300 defense. So this is really nice panda. So that's really good. Yeah. So yeah, so your front line seems to be pretty okay, just probably more HP on segment. Um, so your defense, sorry, your frontline tankers are not that bad. I don't see why you're failing so much. So I'm assuming it's probably probably your damage dealers. What's he on though? But he's on violent. Okay, here's the issue. Don't put don't put violent on your tankers. Like they're not there to do damage. They're there to take the hits and also apply debuffs. That's it. You don't need him to do damage, really. So you don't need to put these runes on him. Like what you have on him. Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need violent runes. I'm pretty sure you can put him on like revenge too or whatever, as long as you can get the same amount of stats. Don't put him on violent because um, the Rageful Roar, every time you get 15 turns in, he does that roar where he stuns you and ticks off all of your buffs. Every time he does that, he gets a little stronger. All right, he gets a little stronger, and also I think it's the Rageful Revenge, right? So he has like this counter on the top left corner. If you look at that, the more turns you get in, the more damage his next attack will do, right? So if he's doing the Crush of Doom or the roar where he hits everybody, and if that counter is really really high, he will do a lot more damage. So it's actually worth it to get in a little less turn. So when he does his attack, it's not as painful. I mean, like for instance, myself, I only have three violent users: my Hua, my Chasten, which is my healer, and my Anava, which is my cleanser. Everybody else has either triple revenge or something else. They do not have violent. So try not to use too much violent because that could hurt you in the end. All right, putting violent on your damage dealers is fine because at the same time they're getting in more turns and the boss will hurt you more, but you are doing more damage. But your tankers though, they're not doing that much damage, so it's not worth it to have too much violent, right? So you do have violent on Colleen, you have violent on Fei. Uh, yeah, that's too much violent, and then you probably have violent on Lisa, right? which is okay to have violent on Lisa, which is okay, and you did build her. Yeah, you built her pretty good. Let me just check something out here. Yeah, she's pretty good. If you bring her closer to 200 speed, that would really help. Because where Lisa really really shines in R5 is when she has 200 plus speed in raids. And the reason why for 200 plus speed is just because one, of course, she goes faster, so she gets in more turn and she can cleanse more. But also at the same time, the boss does apply a slow debuff, which really, really skewers your speed. So when she has like 200 plus speed, it doesn't affect her as much as she will still, go faster than the raid boss. That's why you want her at 200 plus speed. All right. Um yeah, and that's because her third skill, attack command, she uses this whenever she wants, which is really annoying. I'm pretty sure you see it too, right? Like on her first turn, no debuffs, nothing, she will use it right away, which is really really annoying. So that's the other reason why you want her to be really really fast, is so this can come off cooldown as soon as possible. All right. I'm currently using my Annabelle as my cleanser, and she does have a smart cleanse, so she'll only use it when it as a heal or as a cleanse when they're under 50% HP or there's a lot of debuffs on my guys. Then she'll use it, and so she doesn't have to be that fast because it's smart. She's like 192 speed. I forgot what speed she is, but she isn't that fast. All right, but Lisa, because her cleanse is stupid, you need her to be that fast. All right. Yeah, so you have Violent her, which is fine. So yeah, just change your Colleen to triple violent, and your Shung Fei too. Like you can change him to triple violent or guard revenge. Sorry, did I say violent? Sorry, triple revenge Colleen, and triple revenge Shung Fei, or or triple guard. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you don't put on violent, because really violent is hurting you there. All right. And who is your damage dealer? So So remember how I said Hua was really good? Yeah, Hua is really good. She's not as good as before. Like no, she's still as good in R5. It's just that other monsters came along and kind of did better than her. Like what's that name? Shaolin. Shaolin, the water kung fu girl. She does crazy damage now. She does so good. But she's usually only used in R5, I believe. She does have she is usable in other places like the fire raid boss, but other than that, yeah, she's not as useful as Hua. So I would definitely suggest again putting better runes on your Hua. So if you can get her to minimum 150 speed, HP, crit damage, and attack, you can use her in all three. Sorry, you can use her in Necros, Dragon's B10, and R5. Okay, and she's really good in R5. And what other monster? So you need a healer. So you do have a Chassin, which is good. So you have her on a pretty good build. Oh, defense, really? Do you? What's her defense? Oh, okay. So I'm not sure if you run a three-man front line, but yeah, with this you can actually run her three-man defense in the front. Huh. Okay. Okay. I built my Hua a little bit differently because I do utilize her quite often in arena in Guild War. Actually, no, not in arena so much. Not in arena at all, actually, but in Guild War. Yeah. So my Hua is like not my Hua. Sorry, my Chassin is 40k HP and 200 speed on Violent Broken because I couldn't get Nemesis to work in there, right? But yeah, so she's a really fast healer, and here she's a little slower, which I'm really surprised to see. And you do have a defense rune here, so I'm assuming you probably use her for frontline R5, right? I would say, yeah, I would say stick an HP rune here, like just get rid of this, stick an HP rune, because her heal does get affected by her max HP and also her speed. So if you can like speed her up a little bit, that would be good as well. Like at least get her to like 160 or 170 speed. You don't want your main healer to be too slow, because yeah, you just need to heal, right? And you really don't want her to be at the front where she's getting hit and she constantly needs to heal more often because she also getting hurt herself, right? And the good thing about having Chassin in the back line is she won't get hurt as much. So that means she'll have almost all the time 100% HP or close to it, which is good because she does have, as you know, the Fallen Blossom, right? So let's say, for instance, after the third jump, you didn't land attack break, right? You didn't land attack break, and the boss does Crush of Doom, and it's gonna hurt a lot. It's gonna hurt so much, right? And maybe your panda is really good, so maybe your segment is gonna take a lot of damage, and maybe she'll have like 20 or 30% HP left, which is very little, right? But your Chassin will be in the back, and she didn't get hit by that. So she'll have full HP, and then she'll use Fallen Blossom and bring your segment back to 100% HP, right? So you see where I'm going with that, right? So that's why it's good to have her in the back, and just put HP rune there. Really, you don't need defense as long as you have like just whatever base defense she has, and then the random stats you get from the substats that you get from defense is good enough. Just make sure she has a lot of HP. All right. So her amuse will do more heal, and of course make her faster. You don't want her to be too slow, right? Because it's clutch. Chassin is really clutch sometimes in R5. Like happens all the time. The boss is almost about to go. I miss attack break and I already got hit once, and like my monkey, or actually no, not my monkey, my Bella or something may be like almost dead, like maybe 10%, and then Chassin just comes in and saves the day, right? Bella from 10% all the way back to 100%. So yeah, so just put a HP slot. Sorry, replace the slot 4 with HP and try to increase her speed a bit. Yeah. I I do have a stable R5 guide, which I, go much more in depth in there. It's like 33 minutes long. It's when did I make it? Like I think it was like half a year ago. Yeah, but everything there still applies. The only difference now is they added more monsters. So, but all the mechanics and everything is still the same. So if you want, you can go back and watch that video. It does list all the minimum stats required to do R5, and then I also have another set of stats which are recommended stats to do a stable R5. All right. I mean, I already did tell you most of it here, but if you want to look at a more in-depth video, you can totally go there. All right. I list off like a lot of useful monsters and whatnot that are good. Yeah, and you don't have some of those monsters like the attackers, but you do have Phail, and Phail is already very good, right? The one reason, not the one reason, but like one of the reasons why she's so good is because she's only a nat 4, right? The other really good nuker is Sierra, and not everyone has Sierra, but a lot of people do have Phail. All right. Yeah, so Colleen, of course, is important, which you have her pretty good, just triple revenge. Chassin does need to be faster. And what else? What else there? Yeah, and your Lisa's pretty okay too. Just get her up a little bit faster as well. I mean, yeah, just make her faster. Whatever works, just make it faster. And yeah, feel free to put Violent on Phail. It's good, right? So you can have Violent on Phail, Lisa, and Chassin. Because as it is now, you have Violent on like almost everybody, which is too much. Which is too much, right? I think 3 Violent is enough. And then it should only be on your essential units, right? Your damage dealer, very essential. Your cleanser, you need that cleanse. So again, that is very essential. And your primary healer, very essential. Without Violent there, without the heals coming off cooldown sooner, you're gonna die, right? And it's very important to make them fast too, because 145 Chassin is way too slow. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I think that should cover it for R5. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and or just watch the other video. It's pretty good. The stable R5 team, how to make a stable R5 team. Okay, so let's cover. So this one last thing that he wants me to cover is Guild War AO and AD. Sorry, AO and AD. Sorry, Guild War offense and Guild War defense. So let's just go into here and check. I'm gonna check out what his defense is. Okay, so this is his defense here. So the first one is actually very good. It's actually very good. Segment with HP leader. So your Camilla would have more HP, and Chassin. This is really good. I use a similar team for one of my defense. I have a Rakan, so I just stick in Rakan in there. So it's just extra annoyance. But this team is pretty good. Most of the time, people would bring in Chassin as a healer, and Segment counters Chassin. Like, just her AI is so smart. She'll just go for Chassin right off the bat and reset her cooldown. So if most of the time they're going in with only Chassin as a healer, chances are they'll be screwed because they won't have any heals because of the reset. And the reset does go through she steals all the beneficial effects first and then she resets. So if the Chassin has immunity on her, she'll steal that and then reset, which is really nice. So this team actually is pretty decent already. Only thing is though, it doesn't really have that great of a kill potential, although Segment does have armor break here and glancing. Yeah, so really you're depending on your Camilla to do all the damage here, which this team is not bad already. Honestly, it's not bad. Any defense could be countered, right? Any defense could be countered. Even if you're the best player, you can beat them. And the thing is because you're fighting against AI, and AI is stupid as shit, right? So the goal for like Guild War defense or even arena defense is all the same. You put in the monsters for who you want to keep out, right? Because there's going to be a ton of people that can beat you. So you just think of who you can beat, pretty much, right? So with this, this will beat out most players that don't have like a well coordinated team or a strong nukers with good heals, right? Because this is pretty hard. Like Camila does good if you ruin her properly. Yeah, which you did. Like she could use more HP, but like with it's hard enough to get these sort of stats anyways, right? So yeah, so Camila is a really great monster. I have her myself, so I know, right? So yeah, she's really tanky and she does well, not a shit ton of damage, but she does pretty good damage. she for how tanky she is, she does really good damage, right? So this team will keep out a lot of people. Like this team will keep out a lot of people, and so this one's pretty good already. What monsters do you have actually? Yeah, you can just stick with that actually. You don't like you have Zyros and whatnot, but Zyros isn't too good for AD. Sorry, Guild War defense. So I just GD. It's not as good for GD. It's very easily counterable. You just bring Will Runes, right, and that's it. Zyros is dead. Pretty much it. So, but this team, yeah, it's play the longer game, which is really good. So for the second team here, yeah, so this team is actually very easy to beat. It's just a matter of who has the faster Bernard, right? So I'm just gonna check your Bernard. Yeah, so you have 254 speed Bernard. I'm gonna assume. Oh hey, he's 5-star, just like mine. That's good. He only needs to be 5-star. All right. If anyone else tells you different, like really, like he only needs to be 5-star. Sure, 6-star is there for just in case like shit happens, shit goes wrong. He has more HP to be more tanky and whatnot. But really, you only need him for the speed buff. Right? All my guildies keep telling me to 6-star him, and I refuse. Because essentially, he's just there to get the first turning to go first. So if he doesn't go first, it doesn't matter if he's 5-star or 6-star. You already lost. Right? That's how speed teams work. If you don't go first, you lose. Right? So just leave him at 5-star. It's okay. It's okay. Even if your guildie's telling you, it's okay. But anyways, yeah. So all this team pretty much has it going for it is yeah sorry, it's Theomars's randomness, right? He does have the endure, which will let him survive, and then he can violent proc and perhaps kill a guy, right? Perhaps kill a person. But this team really, yeah, like it's very easy to counter, right? You're Bernard again. It's not that fast, and again, I'm just gonna assume that you have assume everybody has max speed totem. Like at this point in the game, everybody has max speed totem. I do, you probably do, all my guildies do. So, that doesn't come into play, right? So it just negates itself pretty much. And yeah, so like even if you wait, what? That's a slow ass galleon. Okay. So yeah, so even if galleon, like even if they were speed tuned properly, it's still very easy to counter, right? Like you can kill off these two really easily. And yeah, so Theomars should have will runes on him. It'll just make it so much easier so that he doesn't get stunned, he doesn't get armor broken, or he doesn't get attack broken, right? You want him to do all the damage you can while you have him up. If you're going with this team, of course, if you're going with this team, and of course, you should make them faster, right? Of course, Bernard should go first, and then Galleon, and then Theomars. But you did say you're going to reruin, so, when you reruin, keep that in mind. But yeah, again, this team isn't that great. Actually, I'm just going to see what team I can make you here that would be better. Or that I would want to fight. Like, if I see that, that's an easy game. easy Guild War right there. All right. Let's see. Oh, you don't have any of the Beast Monks. Oh, okay. Chiwu. Oh. Let's see here. Okay, so I can see why you're using that team now. Just like me, I don't have that great of defense monsters either, right? Like Ritesh or Kumar. Pretty much, I'm just like you. I only have Camila as a really good defensive monster, but everyone else not really. So, but you do have Leo, so you can put like a Leo. Yeah. Do you have an Orion? I think Orion would work out a lot better. Oh, no Orion. No Orion. Okay, build an Orion, and then Orion would go here, and this team is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Um, you know, Leo will go first, and then he'll attack. Yeah, like his passive, if you know it, he does make it everybody so that their speed is a lot slower, and then he has the faster speed. And if you can build Orion quick enough, he can go right afterwards, and then his harmless prank will armor break somebody and stun somebody, and Theomars will go and attack. So this way, you don't really need to concentrate on speed too much. So yeah, so like put an Orion there. It's actually really strong. It's a really strong team. Again, a lot of monsters. Sorry, a lot of defenses are counterable. Like every defense is counterable, right? You just want to be sure you can keep out most people, right? And with this team, I believe it'll keep out more people than the other team of Galleon, Theomars, and Bernard, right? Because making a fast Bernard nowadays isn't too difficult, right? Because all you're really concentrating on for the runes is speed. Like you're just concentrating on for speed, really. Just speed. You don't need HP, you don't need anything else for Bernard. He's just there for speed. So it's not that hard to get speed on a Bernard, right? So a lot of people will have a pretty fast Bernard and they will attack you and test that out on you. And chances are they're probably gonna win, especially if again they're playing against an AI, which yours might derp. If yours is faster, it might not use Tailwind, and then you will lose because that happens, right? So yeah, and then they'll go and they'll kill you afterwards very easily, right? But with this team, it's a lot less RNG based in terms for yourself, right? For them, it's a lot more RNG for them. For you, it's not as much, right? Leo will always do his shit. He'll always do like the first or the second attack, and the second attack, if he has less than 30% HP, he'll ignore defense, which can kill a guy very easily. If they don't time it properly, they can die, right? So that's the added bonus of Leo there. And Theomars, again, he can violent proc, and he does have Elemental King passive, which makes him really random. And Orion's harmless prank is also very random, right? As you know. So if you kill off the right guy, it's GG for them, right? And his first skill does have a built-in violent proc in it. So if he accidentally uses that skill, he may proc, and then he'll hopefully smarten up and use the harmless prank, right? Whereas Bernard, if he uses this first skill, that's it, you're screwed. All right, so yeah, you can try that. You don't have a Orion though. You may have one in storage, but it's definitely worth it to build Orion. Orion is actually very annoying. But yeah, get real runes. Real runes are really nice. Especially you should really have it on Theomars, because when you see a Theomars in Guild Wars, Theomars is always the first, the most threatening, right? Leo is just here to screw up their turn order and everything like that. So it's really nice to have him there. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it for the review. So if I missed anything, feel free to email me and ask. All right. I will respond. And again, for the R5, if you didn't get enough, check out the my stable R5 video first, and then ask me if there's any questions, because there I literally covered everything, like pretty much everything. All right. So yeah, anyways, that's it. That's it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, watch my other videos, and until next time, happy farming.